Welcome to 843 TV. I'm your host, Lisa Richardson, and today we are at the beautiful Spring Island at the Walker Landing Sports Complex where there's so much activity going on. And here today is our special guest and co-host, Mr. John Strother, the broker in charge of Spring Island Realty. John, share with us the other two guests we have today.
So today we'll have Whitfield Marshall. He's our Natural Resources Management Technician, and Ron Dietrich, who's our beverage manager.
So stick around for this episode of 843 TV here at the beautiful Spring Island,
where communities come to speak.
(843 TV), where Bluffton comes to speak.
Where Spring Island comes to speak.
Where Hilton Head Island comes to speak.
Where Beaufort comes to speak.
(843 TV),
where communities come to speak. Welcome to 843 TV. We are here at the absolutely gorgeous Spring Island at the Walker Landing Sports Complex, and we're actually sitting on the croquet lawn this morning, and behind us is the gorgeous marsh and view and the athletic center there. And joining us today is our first guest, Mr. Whitfield Marshall. He is the Natural Resource Management Technician. That's a mouthful, but that's a wonderful opportunity. Welcome, Marshall. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Marshall. So Whitfield, you have been here a couple of years. You're from the Clemson area. You graduated from Clemson, and here you have quite a big role. You manage 1,200 acres of natural habitat. Tell us about just the beauty of the untouched nature, which is part of why you're here, to keep it looking like that. So sum up what your main responsibilities are.
Okay, so when you come on the island, it may look like nature here is untouched, but we actually manage nature preserves on the island very intensively for a diversity of habitats. And we do that because part of the Spring Island philosophy is to have as many native species here as possible, and to do that we need as many native habitats as possible. So while it may look unmanaged, there's a lot that goes into managing the nature preserves.
So out of all the different habitats that you do manage, you know, what are some of the examples of your job description? I mean, what are some of the different things you're doing? Like maybe what are you doing today and what are you doing yesterday, that type of thing?
Well, it involves a lot. Today we'll actually be conducting a prescribed fire on the island. Some days my work includes controlling and removing invasive plants so that they don't take over our native habitats. We also manage our freshwater wetlands on the interior of the island and our fields to make sure they don't become young forests.
You would keep talking about habitats. Would you clarify and maybe go into a little more detail what those habitats are? And
yeah, so what we have on Spring Island are freshwater wetlands, forests, and fields. And there are subcategories to each of those. Some of our forests are native pine savannas, others are live oak forests. And so those require different management strategies to keep them the way they are.
Well, I know that one of the first times I was here, I took a horseback ride, and I went through so many different habitats. I mean, I went through the live oak forest, which was amazing. Then we came out into this open area, and it seemed like an African savanna. And I said, oh my God, this looks like Africa. And they said, that's what we call it. And then I came back through a high pine habitat. It was one of the most amazing experiences I've had in this area. Can you, how do you keep it that way? You just let it go forever, or what do y'all do with?
You have to reset succession regularly for certain habitats. And so in pine savannas, they need fire as a regular disturbance, or else they'll slowly become a different kind of forest, like the live oak forest I mentioned. And so every 2 years, they usually have a prescribed fire used, and that is a low controlled burn that removes fuels and resets it for the native grasses so that it has that savanna-like appearance.
Mm-hmm.
There's quite an education process involved in this, it sounds like.
Gosh, it's amazing. Yeah, it really is. I mean, you think that, okay, we'll just let it go natural, but that's really not what nature's all. I mean, we have a shorter time frame than nature does, don't we?
We do. we tend to remove natural disturbances when we move into an area as humans. And so what we try to do here at Spring Island is mimic those natural disturbances in a controlled and important way to maintain the habitats while we're here.
So after Matthew came through, there were a lot of trees that were down, and then y'all actually did some timbering. Can you explain why that was?
Yes. So Hurricane Matthew, of course, was a big disturbance on the ecosystem. We had lots and lots of trees down. That created a really great opportunity for us, though, to go into some of the forests that we don't use fire in to maintain, that had become really dense and clustered, and open those up so that we can have that park-like appearance in a live oak forest and get those big, beautiful, mature trees. Because when you have lots of little trees packed together, they'll stay that way for a very, very long time. But if you remove some of the trees from in between, the ones that remain mature quicker.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, beyond the trees and all those, we've got quite a system of wetlands and ponds. So how do you maintain and manage all those?
Well, one of the best places on the island for wetlands is actually called the duck ponds, even though they're not really ponds. They're in the center of the island, and it was a low-lying area that, when Spring Island was still a hunting plantation, they diked it in. And they used it as a manageable wetland for duck hunting. And they planted corn in the summer and flooded it in the winter. Nowadays, we keep it flooded for roughly 8 months out of the year, and then we allow it to dry out during the summer. And that sort of mimics what a natural freshwater wetland would do. And it provides really great nesting habitat for migrating wood ducks.
I saw a picture of you in a canoe or a kayak or a rowboat, I'm not sure what it was, monitoring those. Is that something you do?
It is. We have 18 wood duck boxes on the island. They are from one end of the island to the other, spaced out. And we go around every other week during the nesting season, which runs from January to June. And we count the eggs and we count the number of eggs that hatch so that we get a good idea of how successful the wood ducks on the island are.
And as we wrap up, Whitfield, as a resident, how would you share with them, how does one properly interact with nature?
One of the best ways to do that here is with our trail system. We have 30 miles of trail on the island. Most of those trails are also roads that provide us access into the nature preserve, but they are maintained well for walking. And so grab a trail map. This system connects almost every lot on the island to either the perimeter of the island or the interior nature preserves. And don't be afraid to get out and explore all the little nooks and crannies of Spring Island's trail system.
Absolutely. Well, it's a beautiful place that you'd want to explore, but stay right here. We're going to be back with more 843 TV. Welcome back to 843 TV here on Spring Island at the Walker Landing Sports Complex, and we're sitting on the croquet lawn, which is a wonderful spot to be this morning. And joining us next is Ron Dietrich. He's got many roles here, including the beverage manager and beyond, and we're going to talk about some of those things. But it's your 2-year anniversary today. Well, congratulations, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your role as the beverage manager. What are some of the primary functions you have?
As beverage manager and sommelier here, I am in charge of all the wine, beer, and liquor and non-alcoholic beverages on the island. I'm responsible for the wine program, which has grown tremendously since I've been here, as well as, general food and beverage operations.
Plus, you've got some special events that go along with it. I understand you have something called the Grape Expectations. That sounds kind of neat. Tell us about that.
So on Spring Island, we have a wine society that kind of helps sponsor our wine education classes. The Grape Expectations was a month-long class where we discovered and talked about the different grape varieties, where they grow, how they grow, winemaking techniques, and how that affects the different wines and juices of the world.
And again, in fact, there's such an education process involved with that whole procedure, just like we talked in the other segment about the jobs around here, the naturalist program. So there's so much to learn, and the winemaking opportunity is great for the residents to take a class and expand on that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going, didn't you tell me you're going out west for a certification?
Yeah, so I just got accepted to Oregon Pinot Camp. What that is sommeliers, restaurateurs are invited to go to Oregon, learn about Pinot Noir and some other varieties that grow out there, and getting kind of in-depth view of winemaking techniques in Oregon, which is a pretty exciting thing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that sounds great. Well, I know that that's your primary role. When you came here, that was your primary role. And you've kind of morphed into just more than the sommelier and the beverage manager. You're part of our cross-training program, I think that's real innovative, something that our general managers come up with, that's just really hugely popular with our members. Could you explain some of the things what that means and what you do?
Absolutely. So I do, on top of the beverage managing part of the job, I also help with the croquet program where we're at right now. We have several croquet tournaments. We have croquet and fishing tournaments, shooting tournaments, that sort of thing. As a result, I also help with the clay range, fishing tournaments, and I also lead kayak tours during the summer, as well as head our cycling group.
Wow, you know, now this kind of hits on what I think is really unique about Spring Island and what really resounds with a lot of different people. I tell them that people here like to do a lot of everything. It's not like one group and that's, you know, you play croquet and you're done. Don't y'all, didn't you have one like, what was it, Wicked Shot?
Yeah.
What was that?
So that was fun. So in the morning, we went out to the clay range, several members that enjoy multiple sports and activities. We shot 50 targets, clay pigeons, had a little bit of lunch, then came out and had a tournament on the croquet lawn. The winner was kind of based on the shots as well as the wickets made, and it turned out to be a really fun event for the members and for us involved.
So y'all actually interact with the members in different events, and they're moving from one event to the next on the same day. It's kind of like summer camp, isn't it?
That is to say, sounds like a fun summer camp for
Yeah,
adults.
I know,
and
it
they're
is.
learning a lot of new things at the same time.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hadn't the croquet program's just exploded, hadn't it?
It is, and actually we're talking about expanding the lawn to incorporate more games and have more fun that way.
Uh-huh.
As we're talking about you're interacting with members daily, constantly, and this might be a question maybe better for you to answer, give us an idea of your members here, age-wise, age ranges. Who in fact are your members that you're working with?
Really all the members, everybody from the new ones to 55, 60 years old, all the way to the ones that have been here senior memberships. Croquet is one of those sports that anybody can play, kids, people in their 80s. And obviously, you know, with the shooting, it requires a little bit younger, a little bit more dexterity. So, I mean, it's really everybody in their own interest. We have fishing socials that people come out that don't participate in anything else but fishing. So it's all kinds of people.
Do you ever have any of your events open to others, maybe as a way to introduce them to Spring Island, if they're maybe pondering whether they make the move? Do you ever have anything where they can bring guests?
Absolutely. So when prospects come in and they want to see the marsh, John will give me a call and say, hey, can you take so-and-so out, explore the marsh and the local wetland. Also do croquet clinics and lawns for some of the new members. And even at our wine dinners, we'll have prospects and guests of members come in and experience what fun that can be.
Sure.
I know that's really key for us from a sales standpoint, because this community is so welcoming and so social, and there's so many different things going on that people over and over again say, we've never been anywhere like this before. It's really crazy. I think it's crazy good. Did you take the Master Naturalist program?
Yeah, I took the Master Naturalist program last fall, and I'm a certified Master Naturalist.
Is there anything you don't do?
Not too much. I try not to cook.
Well, you've got lots to do, and I know you're in a band, and we don't have time to get into that. But just tell us the name of it.
The Unusual Suspects.
The Unusual Suspects. Okay, well, again, so much to hear from here at Spring Island, and we're going to hear more in just a few minutes, so stay right here and we'll be right back. Welcome back to 843 TV here on Spring Island at the Walker Landing Sports Complex. And all around us we have tennis going on. We've got all kinds of activities in the background, a fitness center, and we are sitting on the croquet lawn, which is so neat. And John Strother is joining us now. Always an awesome opportunity to sit with you and learn all about the new things that are always happening here on Spring Island. So the gentleman in the other segment shared about some different things and always new things. How about the real estate market? Tell us where we stand and how it's coming along.
Wow, well, we've just had a great winter. Just in the past several weeks, we've put five properties under contract.
Oh, wow.
So things are really going. Actually running low on inventory.
So, good problem to have, right?
Well, not if you're a salesman. So, but that's good because actually the members are happy. We've got a lot of people building. A lot. We have 17 homes that are under construction. We have 12 homes that are being remodeled, and that's on the outside. So we have probably another 10 that are being done inside that don't require, approval. And then there are 9 homes going through our review process right now. So the building is, because we have a low inventory of homes, people are choosing to build. So that's way up. Historical Concepts, which is one of the prominent architectural firms in the Southeast, actually on the East Coast now. They've got 6 homes going now.
Wow.
Which is more than they've had in probably 10 or 15 years. So people are really building beautiful homes, all kinds of different styles, small to large. They probably go from 800,000 to 4 million. It's just,
That's a good point. I think people think Spring Island, maybe they're large capacity, large sizes, but in fact there's some very modest sizes. Share with us maybe those size ranges.
Well, like one of my favorite homes is called Two Friends, and it's a little 500 square feet on the marsh. It's a little jewel box. It's just a little southern shack. And then they'll go up to, we have several that may be 10,000 square feet, really large, but they're broken into multiple dwellings on there.
Sure.
So we don't like a big monolithic house.
Right.
So people here, if they're going to come and spend a little time, everybody's down to earth, so nobody cares if you're in a little bitty house or a big house. You've got the nature screens around every lot. Nobody can see your house from the road or next door, and so you can do what you want. Consequently, we've got some very modern homes, very traditional homes, small homes, big homes. I mean, it's really incredible.
And for those maybe just learning about Spring Island, give us an idea of the capacity. How many homes are existing and how many lot spaces are left?
Well, we have 400 lots, and by the end of the year, we'll have 300 homes either up or under construction. So we're 3/4 of the way finished. And because of that, we always have a good permanent population here that are, living here year-round. So there's always somebody to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you do have this special philosophy of meeting and even exceeding the members' expectations. Share a little bit about that.
Well, it's a place where, the members really rule here. We've had an art barn, which was an old quail hatchery in the 60s.
A quail hatchery. Now that's something you don't hear all
Yeah,
the
that's
time.
where they hatched the quail, put them out there, and then they shot them, So we've used that as an art barn. So we've had a separate building that people go there for the kilns and to do pottery classes and painting. But it's small. We've got 150 people who are active in the arts program now. 150 out of 400 members.
Wow.
So they wanted an art barn. So they voted and approved about an 85% to 15% margin construction of a brand new art barn. It's in a 6-acre oak grove. It'll be 3 buildings, 20-foot walls, for great light coming in. 1 wing for potters, 1 wing for painters.
Wow.
Galleries, a building for our art administrator, a visiting artist, and then a kiln shed also. So
That's really a neat and probably very unique. That's unique to most areas.
I don't know of another community that has anything like that.
I don't know that I've heard of it either. And what a better place to inspire people for art than what you've got in the natural surroundings here. Just absolutely incredible.
Yes, it is. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Now, of course, it's always my favorite part to hear about your beautiful homes that you have, and you share a little bit about what's happening now. And I'm waiting for you to get us into one of these to film, by the way.
Okay,
But
next
new
time.
thing coming up, 101 Spring Island Drive.
Oh, I love this home. This is a 3-acre parcel, and when you come, you just have this bank of trees on the road and brush. You can't see anything, so you go down this long, windy drive, and well manicured drive, and it opens up into a 3-house compound where you have a 2-bedroom, 2.5-bath guest house, the main house, which is 2 bedrooms, and then a carriage house which has a suite over that. So it has a picket fence around it. It's kind of built on a Williamsburg theme. Historical Concepts designed this, and it's an amazing structure. When you go in, you have a large living room, kitchen area, and that's pretty much the downstairs with a porch coming around where you can have a swinging bed, different sitting areas, eating areas. And then upstairs it has the most fantastic master suite. It's huge with its own fireplace, overlooking the golf course with a beautiful porch on the outside. It's really an amazing structure.
It sounds amazing. I look forward to seeing that. Sometimes I think we'll probably have some shots on the screen so people can get a glimpse in case you're interested.
There you go.
It's an absolutely beautiful place here in Spring Island. Beautiful temperatures, why we love it here, and we're excited that you've joined us today for another episode of 843 TV, where communities come to speak.